What if I told you that with just a simple strategy, you are going to become a very, very profitable trader? And no, I'm not talking about CFDs. And by CFD, I mean contract for difference. We're not talking about Forex in this sense. All you need is just a lot of money. And when you have a lot of money, you are going to grow that money very easily. This is the same format that MicroStrategy is using. This is the same format that even Tesla and Grayscale are using. And it's none other than what? DCA. What is DCA? DCA simply means dollar cost averaging. That's what we are going to talk about in this video, and we are going to be brief, and we are going to also show you some ways that you can even make it even more better. So, as always, this is Cash Money, and let's get started. So this right here is my phone screen, and I have two pairs here. I have BTC and Ethereum. Now, this is very simple. What it means is mostly we know that the market is going to go up or down. However, we are having issues with entry. Now, to solve that issue of entry, you first of all look at the market from a very big time frame. We don't look at the 15 minutes or even 30 minutes in this case. Rather, we are going to go high and see what the long-term trend is telling us. And that is the best way to do DCA. Because we know that even though there is going to be noise in the smaller time frame, it's going to catch up with the higher time frame. And historically, Bitcoin has just been going up and it's not going down. Same thing applies to Ethereum. However, there are some coins that will come and go, but those ones don't have that guarantee. I only give guarantee for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, let us now start. This year is just very simple. Assuming we meet Bitcoin at 118,000, we'll just come and buy. We'll buy, but it's not even advisable to buy at the top. So it's best to, if you want to use DCA, it's always best to buy at support levels and then you sell at resistance. Very simple. Now, what happens if the price breaks the support? You just wait and then you buy at the next support. So I'm going to use 1 hour for this. I'm changing to 1 hour. This is Bitcoin. So there is an indicator that I'm just going to place on this chart to make our work easy, because you know me, I love indicators. I don't like wasting time on charts. Indicators will give us what we want. So basically for this approach, we are going to use what we call supply and demand. They act like support and resistance, just that they are more fine-tuned. They are much more effective. So we are going to do that. So what you are going to do is you go to your settings on TradingView. You will not have this on your MT5 unless you know how to draw it manually on MT5. Here we are going to use what? TradingView. So you go to Indicators tab. Now when you get to Indicators tab, you search DIY. You are going to see this indicator called DIY Custom Strategy. You click on it. Now you can see it's telling me at the bottom that it's already on my chart. So I'll close this and then wait for it to load. Now this is what the indicator will show you by default, but we are not interested. The only thing we need is what is let's just go to the settings, and then you turn off this alternate signal, you turn off long or short, turn all these things off. The only thing we need is supply and demand. So look at, this is the place that you now you turn on market session, you turn off this PV whatever. We are left with what? Supply and demand. That's the only thing we need. Then you go down to the settings of supply and demand, because it's not going to appear on the charts very well. So we are going to customize the colors. We look for supply and demand here. Supply and demand. I think I'm almost there. Supply and demand. Supply and demand. Well, all right, let's keep searching. I've not seen supply and demand yet. Yeah, the supply and demand. So the only thing I'm looking for is this supply. I'll change the supply to red. Then the demand will be green. So we are buying at the demand and we'll sell at the supply. That's the idea. So yes, you can see my chart. It has been plotted for me in a very good way. So the idea is to buy at what? You buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, you buy at demand and then you sell at supply. So you can see from this chart that we have different levels indicated here. And previously there might be zones here, like here. Before it broke this place, it might tell you that here is the supply. The same thing applies to the down one. but doesn't mean. So what we actually are looking for here is, okay, if this was our previous supply, this place that I've marked here, I'll just buy here. I'll buy at 114, and then you notice that price just broke that level and then came down. So as it is approaching here, there might be another supply here that I'll buy at. When I buy at this price, when price returns to my previous entry, I will have been on profit. That's just it. So you keep buying at different levels. So the idea now is what you just have to do. You don't waste your time. If you have a lot of money, let's say you have, let's say, even just 1,000 USD. Now, instead of pouring the 1,000 USD into the market at once, buying at a very high price, you just do something like, okay, you split the money into 5 places, 200, 200, 200 in 5 places. Now, we now come to this chart on 1 hour, even 4 hours. This is not something you get every day, right? If you want to be trading like that daily, you have to drop to the small time frames like 15 minutes. But this one is for maybe swing traders. If you have a lot of money, that's why I say so. You make more money over time. So here you buy $200 at this demand level. If it moves to the supply, you can sell. But if it doesn't move and it breaks this place and goes to the next supply, you buy at the next supply, another $200. Then when it comes to this one, also you buy another $200. That's how you keep buying at supply levels. Keep on buying. And then your investment will be adding up. And even if price were to return to the first place that you entered, though the first market that you entered might have not given you profit, but the ones you enter at the bottom would be in a lot of profit. And if you add up everything, that will mean that you have a lot of money that have already grown. So your money might have grown significantly. That's depending on how you invest it, because some people might say, okay, in the first place, because some people, they don't do DCA, they do martingale. You know, the difference between martingale and DCA is that when you are doing martingale, when you enter the first position here, the next position you are going to enter with double of what you have entered before. Say you have entered here with a $100, then the next demand level you enter with 200, and then you have a total of 300 in the market. So when price breaks that level and approach the next one, you are going to buy $300 worth of BTC. Now, because you have already bought 300 before, you buy another 300. So that one is too risky. It's better you use the same amount every time. To 200, you split it 5 times, and then you just keep buying, keep stacking up some BTC, and then when price reverses, you are going to what? You are going to buy it. Now, for those that actually know a little bit of market structure, you might not just buy at the demand like that. You don't just buy anyhow. For some people, once it touches, they'll buy, and that is very fine. That's very okay. But if you want to even make it better, what you will just do is when price touches this supply level, touches the demand level, right? You don't just enter immediately, because there's every tendency that's going to break through and approach the next one. So what you usually wait for is what we call a change of character. Change of character is nothing but what? A change in market structure. But then it's not in this time frame you look for it. If you are using 1 hour supply and demand zones, you drop down to like 5 minutes or 1 minute. Even 1 minute is okay. When you see a change of character in 1 minute or 5 minutes, that is telling you that the market could potentially reverse to what? To the upside. So when you wait for that confirmation, that's when you enter the market. So that way you are not just entering blindly, you're actually waiting for a market shift. And of course, it's going to save you some money, but then it's not a big deal. You can even enter at every demand and sell a supply after you've seen some profits. So this is just the strategy. It's nothing but DCA. This is what big firms are using, like MicroStrategy. They keep on buying Bitcoin at different levels. And I can tell you now that those guys are in a lot of profit. They've made over $70 billion. So this is just the simplest strategy for a lazy man, for someone that has a lot of money, and it will not stop you from doing your work. You can still do anything you want. So with this strategy, I know and feel that everyone can come into Bitcoin and Ethereum trading. And this is not a financial advice. I'm just sharing knowledge. And thank you for watching.